Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first show of the Puck Drop. The show is going to recap what's going on in the NHL, anything from injuries to some of the best players, what they're doing out on the ice, some of the upcoming players. But let's start with last night's game recaps, Chris.
All right. Well, last night we had about, 7 games playing?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
We had, first off, we had Dallas and Boston, which Dallas won that game, so I lost that pick.
Yeah, so did I. The Islanders took on the Devils in Brooklyn. They actually used their alternate jerseys, which were all black with the white lettering. I thought those were kind of cool.
Yeah, I do like the alternate jerseys. By any chance have you seen Anaheim's alternate jerseys?
Yes,
bright orange?
the bright orange. Those are really nice as well. Well, the Islanders took the Devils 2-1 and won that game.
And we also had New York Rangers over the Washington Capitals, which I was shocked at this game. I was expecting Washington to win, but I guess not. And we had the Rangers win 5-2, and yeah, that was a sad upset for me because I picked the Capitals to win that one.
I chose the Rangers, being a born Rangers fan, and you know they produced. They finally scored on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
They did give up a PK. They were penalty killing, and they gave up a power play goal. Ovechkin, of course, scored. You know, I said he was going to score. You know, he's just an unstoppable player. Ottawa took on Montreal. This was an exciting game. We got to see a little 3-on-3 overtime.
Yeah, only for like, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, they scored with 4:26 left in the OT, and Ottawa 2-1 on Montreal. They had a 3-on-1. They tic-tac-toed it back door against Condon.
The problem is we had too many offensive players on our 3-on-3, and we had no defensemen. And I mean, with the line like Pacioretty, Plekanec, and Petrie, I mean, it was a good setup for a 3-on-3, but we had no defensemen. We lost a puck down deep into the Ottawa zone. They got it back, passed it around, and scored right on Condon.
We had Detroit win over Tampa Bay 2-1. Now that was a great game. I mean, you know, both great goaltenders. Jimmy Howard, you have Ben Bishop on one side, so it was definitely a great game to watch.
And then Los Angeles over St. Louis for the first and I think the only shutout for the night. LA definitely destroyed the St. Louis Blues there. Can't really complain too much. I think I picked the Kings to win on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, with St. Louis, you know, they're having a tough season this year already.
Well, I thought with Tarasenko back, maybe he would burn some fire with the young guys and some of the veterans and get a win, but I guess not. Colorado took on San Jose. That was an interesting game because San Jose was up 2-0 for a while, and then all of a sudden Colorado came out with 5 goals and just shut them down after that. So Colorado won that game 5-2.
And then our final game of the night was Edmonton over Philadelphia, and we all knew that Philadelphia probably wasn't going to win this one. However, they did start out pretty strong, and they were winning. I think it was 2-0
at the end of the second.
At the end of the second, and then Edmonton came out of nowhere with a fiery third period and just put it away for the Flyers there.
Yeah, Edmonton won 4-2. I chose Philly to win that game, but you know what? Stuff happens, and whatever happened in that locker room in between the second and third in the Edmonton locker room must have been big. Whatever the coach said, fired some of those players up, and you know, hopefully.
What was shocking though was the victory after losing Connor McDavid.
Yes.
You know, after taking that injury. And it's been announced that he had broke his collarbone. He slammed to the boards pretty hard down the Flyer zone, and it looks like he's going to be taking some time off for his surgery, and probably for the rest of the season, including part of the playoffs if they make it.
Yeah, they were saying today that they're most likely not going to. A lot of the media have said, you know, Connor McDavid leading the team in goals, points, and assists. You know, a young player, he was bound to be Rookie of the Year, went first overall, 2015 draft. So, you know, that's sad to see a young kid like this just, you know, lose his rookie year on such an injury. Because once you play, you know, 10 games, that's your rookie year, and he hit that 10-game mark in this game. So it's sad to see his rookie year go to waste. But now Jack Eichel is going to be, you know, all eyes and ears now.
He will be. And looks like hopefully nothing will happen to him as well.
Yeah. Some other injuries happened last night. Chris Kelly, Boston offenseman, broke his left femur while going to a loose puck near the blue line against the Dallas Stars. He is going into surgery tonight, and he will be out 6 to 8 months, which is really the whole season.
Just the season.
I mean, maybe playoffs.
Towards the end, he might be able to get back in, but just think, out for 6 months, you're going to be so out of shape, loose and rusty, you know.
I think he's not coming back till next year.
Yeah, definitely have to build that up. And you're going to take this guy because it's Kopitar, right?
Anze Kopitar, LA offenseman. He took a hit to the head in the first period, and it was a dirty hit.
I didn't see that.
Referee didn't even make a call. It was in front of the net. He was going towards the front of the net for a pass. He got blindsided. I think it was a missed call. You know, who really knows? He did finish out the period, but after the first period, he did not return to the game. So possible concussion or, you know, just banged up. So hopefully it's not long term because, you know, they need an assistant captain out there leading the team. So that's what he is. So
player safety, you end up reviewing it at all or anything like that?
No, they have not they haven't put anything out. We'll see either Thursday or Friday whether or not they're going to have an in-player hearing or maybe even a phone hearing for him.
All right. Well, some other news around the league. We finally have announcements of who are the World Cup coaches for USA and Canada. #1 pick, of course, would have been Mike Babcock for Canada, and I believe he was for Sochi for the Olympics.
He was at
Vancouver,
Sochi and Vancouver, and he won both gold medals there. So you know that's a great pick by the Canadians GM by picking him. He has a lot of experience with World Cup play, not only with World Cup but Olympic. You know, you play the same teams you're going to play.
Right.
So, and this gears you up for the Winter Olympics, seeing what guys you want to choose, what you want to play. So, he's been a great coach. He's 600% win percentage, so you like to see that kind of coach coaching them. Now, Tortorella was definitely an interesting pick for Team USA. I did not see this. You know, there's definitely 100% better coaches than him, in my opinion. But maybe his anger and, you know, his mentality will fire up some of these USA players and finally, you know, get a win off Canada, eh?
I don't know. I mean, you saw what he did with the Blues.
Yeah, I mean, with the Rangers, being a Rangers fan, I mean, he moved guys up and down from the AHL to the NHL, and, you know, you can't be doing that at that level. You can't be moving someone up for 5 games, putting them down 5 games, up 5 games. You got to have a set lineup. And that's what I'm worried about with Team USA is he's going to have a lot of healthy scratches that he puts in and, you know, scratches some of the better players. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But, I mean, he got fired from Vancouver this year, and he just took on the St. Louis Blues because their coach got fired for having not such a good season so far. So, well, last night we had a couple milestones among us in the league.
First off, we have from the Dallas Stars, Taylor Seguin?
Seguin, yes.
Seguin. These guys have weird last names. Sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing them. But he was the second pick by Boston in 2010. Became the first player from his draft class to reach over 300 career points. And he's, what is it? He's got
138 goals, 164 assists.
For a total of
302 points in only 367 games. I mean, that's a lot.
He's averaging about a point a game.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Next is Capitals forward Alex Ovechkin has scored his 481st career goal to move within only 2 more goals for the most goals in Russian history to be playing in the NHL. So, you know, that's great for him. But last night,
Sergei Fedorov, right?
Yeah, right behind him. But also last night, the Capitals got into a little scuffle themselves at a strip club in Florida.
If it weren't for Alexander Ovechkin, I'm pretty sure they all would have been in jail at some point.
Yeah, I heard he broke it up. He came out with a bloody fist. I mean, maybe he was involved, maybe he wasn't, but he's saying he broke it up. So I'd like to see a little bit more news come out on that.
I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more as the story becomes clear and everyone sobers up.
They did buy a $1,000 bottle of liqueur, so I mean, you know, when you have 20 guys only drinking from that, you know, a lot of bad stuff happens.
Most of them probably, with especially one angry Russian like Ovechkin.
So
You're the Rangers fan, so you can take this one.
Oh, thanks, bud. So, Henrik Lundqvist last night, he played in his 630th career game, and he has only played all his games in New York, which he just surpassed, I believe, Turk Bruda. He played 620 games with Toronto for the second most appearances by a goaltender with only one franchise, which is a huge milestone.
Mm-hmm.
But the only goaltender to play more games than Henrik Lundqvist with the same organization or franchise is actually Mike Richter. He played 666 games with the New York Rangers, so I mean, he's obviously going to hit that marker this year, and I'm sure that'll be a great game to even watch or celebrate for him.
Oh, when you get yourself a good goaltender, you don't want to get rid of him. You want to hold him as long as you can.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and Bruins defenseman Colin Miller
and Stars defenseman Juraj Jakubaka each scored their first NHL goal last night, which is, that's always a confidence booster for the young guys.
Especially when you played 62 games.
Yeah.
And you haven't scored a goal yet.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. I mean, he was brought up last year, just late, right before the playoffs, and Jakubaka, he's a third-liner defenseman, so he doesn't see that much ice time, and he's been a healthy scratch here and there, because healthy scratches, that actually counts as a game played. So you got to take that into consideration, but that is quite a milestone to be broken is 62 games.
Sure. He's relieved.
Oh yeah, finally got the monkey off his back there.
That's right.
And that we have tonight's and Thursday's matchups. Tonight's matchup is Winnipeg at Toronto, Pittsburgh at Vancouver, St. Louis at Chicago, Florida at Anaheim.
And on Thursday we got Tampa Bay at Buffalo, New York Islanders at Montreal, Nashville at Minnesota, Colorado and Arizona, Boston and Washington, Winnipeg at Ottawa, Philadelphia at Calgary, and Columbus at LA. So those would be pretty interesting lineups.
So now we're going to do our picks up on the board over there. And do you want to do the honors of going first up there?
Yeah,
choosing your teams?
I'll go first.
All right, so for my first pick with Winnipeg and Toronto, well, the Winnipeg Jets are doing all right, but I gotta take Toronto over Winnipeg. Pittsburgh and Vancouver. Vancouver is doing a pretty good time so far in this season, and they did beat the Canadiens there. So I'm going to take Vancouver over Pittsburgh. St. Louis and Chicago. I got to go with Chicago. Florida and Anaheim. I'm also a big Anaheim fan, so I'm going to go with Anaheim. For Thursday night's matchup with Tampa Bay over Buffalo, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Islanders in Montreal. I mean, obviously, my pick is going to be Montreal. Nashville and Minnesota. I'll probably end up taking Nashville over Minnesota. Colorado over the Coyotes. I'm going to go with Colorado, especially after that performance last night with a strong third period. Boston over Washington. Well, probably going to take Boston because I think the majority of the Washington players might be in jail. Winnipeg and Ottawa, allegedly. Winnipeg and Ottawa. I'm going to go with Ottawa. Winnipeg might be tired after playing Toronto. Philly and Calgary will be an interesting game. Both these teams are struggling this year. But I want to go with Philadelphia over Calgary. And for Columbus at LA, I'm going to pick LA.
I do like most of your picks because, I'm thinking, Winnipeg and Toronto. Honestly, I got to go with Winnipeg. They're going to be a strong team. They got Dustin Byfuglien back. He didn't get any suspension, so, that's always a plus, too. Pittsburgh, Vancouver, I got to go with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh have been doing, all right this year. They're struggling, but they have a lot of strong guys on their team. St. Louis and Chicago, no-brainer. Chicago, they got Corey Crawford, past Stanley Cup champions. In the past, I think, 4 years, they've won 2 Stanley Cups, something like that. So, you always got to go with the stronger team there. St. Louis has been struggling this year, so Chicago's definitely my pick there. Florida, Anaheim. Florida, they don't have a strong goalie staff. They don't have a strong defense. The only thing that's working for them is their offense, and for offense to produce, you also need to back it up with the defense. My Thursday picks, this was a tough one, Tampa at Buffalo. I'm going to have to go Buffalo. Buffalo, they have a strong young team, but it's going to be a tough battle because Tampa, they have a lot of veterans. They also were in the Stanley Cup this year, and they only lost one guy. So, it's going to be a well fought out battle. Islanders and Montreal. Now, I'm going to go with the Islanders.
Of course you are.
The only reason I am going to go with the Islanders is Montreal, you don't know who they're starting in net. They could be starting Cadone, or they could be starting your favorite goaltender,
Hopefully not
Tokarski. So,
Hopefully not. I doubt they will.
If they do start Tokarski, Islanders got it in the bag without a doubt. So, moving on to my next pick, Nashville at Minnesota. I'm going to go with Nashville. Nashville, they're always a playoff team. They have a strong defense this year, and they're very well-rounded this year. Minnesota, I feel like they're on the downplay a little bit. They're in the rebuilding stage for a couple of years now. So, Colorado at Arizona. This is a big matchup, I think. Definitely a rivalry. I got to go with Colorado. They have a great coaching staff, great defense behind them, great goaltending, so that's a no-brainer for me. Boston at Washington. I'm going to go with Washington, even though allegedly some of them might be in jail. But, Boston just lost Chris Kelly, second liner centerman.
And they still have other players besides.
Oh yeah, they have Chara, Lucic, Marchand. I mean, those are just some of them.
Yeah, you're down one player, but you still have three other great players.
Yeah, but I mean, Washington, they produce. I mean, don't forget they have Ovechkin. They also got Oshie in the trade block too. So him and Ovechkin are on the line. That's a quick line.
Also depends if Ovechkin can play with that bloody hand.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully he can, and if so,
right.
I think Washington will come up on that win. Now, Winnipeg at Ottawa, I got to go with Ottawa. I mean, Winnipeg's going to have a tough game against Toronto because, the Canadian rivalry up there, so it's going to be definitely a bloody battle up there. I think there's going to be a few fights definitely in that game, so that'll slow some of the players down playing Ottawa. So, I mean, Ottawa does have, a strong offense. Their goalies, they need a little bit more goaltending help back there, so hopefully they could definitely get something done that night. Philly at Calgary, this is going to be a close game. And, Calgary's been struggling a little bit, so I'm going to go with Philly. They have Mason in net, who's, been around the league. He's a veteran. So, I mean, that one's a no-brainer. Now, Columbus at LA. I'm going with Columbus. Columbus, they picked up some guys out of the trade block that I think are going to help them win a couple more games this year. They're definitely going to be a playoff contending team this year, without a doubt. So those are my picks. And we'll see Friday who got more right.
All right, well, we do have some of them that are the same, so it's going to come down to...
It's going to come down to the...
We got Boston, Washington, Tampa Bay, Buffalo.
I think it's going to be the Columbus-LA game it comes down to, because that's going to be a late-night game. So, or the Boston-Washington. Well, I think those two are going to be the determining factors of who's going to win this battle here. Now it's time for our last and final segment of the puck drop. It's called In the Crease. This is where we look around for only tonight's matchup and see the goaltender stats, see who's a better goaltender in each setup. So Winnipeg is going to have Mike Hutchinson in net, who's the starting goalie. And these aren't confirmed. These are just who we think are going to be starting due to, the backup, their wins and losses. So Mike Hutchinson, he's 4-1 so far. His goals against average is 2.51. Save percentage is .925. And Toronto's goaltending has been a little iffy. I couldn't make a decision on who they're going to start because their starting goalie Jonathan Bernier is 0-6. His goal against is 3.02, and his save percentage is .889. And the backup James Ramirez 2-1, but you know his goals against average is 2.77, save percentage .90. So I don't know who they're going to start there.
I'm
And
feeling
what are your
they're probably
thoughts?
going to start with Renier.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean-
Give the kid a shot
Mm-hmm.
just to see what he could do, and he's already got a winning record. He's 500%.
I mean, look what they did. Look what Montreal did with Condon. They gave him the shot. He was 5-0. Now he's 5-1. But still, he's doing big things for the team.
I mean, last night's game, I don't think you could blame that cross crease pass on him when you have a 3-on-1.
With no defenseman either.
Yeah, they
that was
don't
a
know
mistake.
stick in the passing lanes or little stuff like that could have prevented that pass from going through.
I definitely think Michel Therrien was trying to end the game quick
Oh,
and put out his one of his top 3 goal scorers.
which isn't so bad during 3-on-3.
Mhm.
Playoff. There's a lot of ice. You gotta move the puck. I mean,
Yeah.
like Calgary last night. I mean, they could move the puck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Calgary, Edmonton was a big one we watched last night where they can move the puck pretty fast. So I think I'm going to go with Chris here and say James Ramirez is probably going to start just because of his stats. But you never know. They might give Bernier one more shot and say, listen, if this kid's doing better than you, you're going to have to be backup this year.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Take a seat on the bench.
yeah, learn your spot on the team. So our next goalie matchup.
Brian Elliott for St. Louis there, and Corey Crawford for Chicago. I think those are pretty good picks that potentially going to be playing. Brian Elliott's 4-0 right now, and his goals allowed average is 2.18, and his save is 408. You got there, or is that 908?
908.
908.
And then Corey Crawford, 6-3. His goals against is 1.79, and he's .938 for his save percentage. And in this matchup, I think Corey Crawford, he's a little bit more of a veteran in the league than Brian Elliott, and 3-time Stanley Cup winner.
That goes a long way too,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning of the season.
You're looking for teams who are going to produce early and produce throughout the whole season. So I think Chicago could do that throughout the whole season. I mean, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. They're down 3-0 in the third period. They could come back like that. I mean, they're one of those teams that you got to watch late. They've been there in Boston. They were down 3-0 with I think 3 minutes left in the third period for the Stanley Cup, and they came back and won 4-3.
That's right.
I mean, I think that was one of the best Stanley Cup games I've ever seen. But I think Corey Crawford's definitely going to face, I would say, about 35 shots. That's about the average.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he's definitely going to stop at least 32, 33, if not all.
Right.
So, I mean, Brian Elliott, 4-0, that goes a long way too. You have a lot of confidence. St. Louis is also at home, so that plays a big part too.
It does.
So,
Home ice definitely has the advantage.
yeah, so definitely, but, Chicago's a great road team too. So, you got to take both that into consideration. So, I'm going to go with Corey Crawford on that one.
I'll agree with you on that one as well.
Next, we have Pittsburgh in Vancouver. Pittsburgh's goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury, 6-4. Goals against average, 1.71. And his save percentage is .942. And
For Vancouver, hopefully they'll be playing Ryan Miller, who's 5-1 right now, and his goals allowed is 2.06, and his save percentage is a 9.27, which, a little bit underneath Marc-Andre Fleury, but I definitely think he'll be able to produce and stop a lot of shots for Vancouver there.
Vancouver and Pittsburgh, this is going to be, 2-goal, 1-goal game without a doubt. I'm thinking that, Vancouver, they have a lot of grinder guys that go in corners, get the pucks. Pittsburgh's afraid to hit. They're not a hitting team. They're more of a finesse team. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Sidney Crosby's one of the best players in the NHL right now. But there comes a point in time in your career where you need to start, giving the body a little bit. I mean, he's afraid to get hit, and you got to make plays.
Well, he gets hurt.
That's true, too.
He gets hurt pretty easily.
He's small, he's not big, but when he's out there, he produces. He either produces or, you know, teams find a way to shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think if Vancouver could shut him down, they'll definitely get the win. But, you know, some teams they never figured out how to shut down Sidney Crosby. I mean, I remember last year, Rangers going in 2 years ago. Now the Rangers were playing Pittsburgh. They were down 3-1. They came back and won it 4-3. You know, that's, you know, when you're down 3-1 in a series in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's huge to come back for 4 games. And that's how we beat them, was just shutting down Sidney Crosby. Once you shut them down, they can't produce because he's their all offense. So
Right.
I think without a doubt Vancouver could pull that off without making any mistakes there. And our last and final goalie matchup is Florida, Roberto Luongo. He's 3-4. He's getting up there in age. I mean, he's one of those guys that could definitely impact the league this year with, depending on how he plays, they might be starting to get rid of older players. I mean, they also have Jaromir Jagr on that team, who's up there in age too. But Luongo's goals against average is 2.15 and his save percentage is .934. And in goal for Anaheim is...
We have Frederick Anderson, who's 1-5-2, whose goal allow is 2.5, and his save average is a 9.35, which, I mean, not the best in the league right now with his wins, but he's definitely going to help producing for the Anaheim team, and hopefully they can come back and finish the season strong. I mean, it is only, game 12?
Yeah, game 12
So,
game 13.
It's, you know, still start of the season. You know, everyone's still shaking with the cobwebs, and I think Anderson can definitely bring something strong to the team of Anaheim.
And I know with Anaheim's backup, Anton Khudobin, he's also 0-4. So I mean, I think Frederick Anderson's going to start just because, you know,
He's got the one win under his belt.
yeah, he's got the one win, and you know, he's pushed games into overtime. You know, he lost 2 games in overtime, but that's also 2 points there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, you don't always look for. You always want a winning goalie, but if he could get you to overtime every once in a while and get you that extra point, that's also a plus on the added side. But I definitely think Anaheim's going to pull it out tonight. You know, Roberto Luongo's not, I don't even think in the top 25
Right.
in the goalie category anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, his prime of career was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think he's on his downslope, and I think he's not going to be in the league in 5 years, if that, if he'll last that long. So I think that's it for In the Crease.
And I believe that's the end of our first show here.
Yes, so if you would like to subscribe, please subscribe. We're going to do these shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and Fridays are going to be a little bit longer just because, you know, we have Saturday and Sunday to cover, a lot of hockey to talk. And Mondays will be big too because we'll have a lot of picks to go through too.
Especially on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night rivalries. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully we could get a lot of hockey back to you, and hopefully we get a lot of subscribers from this.
Make sure you leave your comments as well, and hit that like button for us.
Yeah, and if you have any teams you would like us to cover, you know, just put it in the Dropbox, and we could, you know, spend a little bit of time on certain teams if you guys want to.
Alright, folks, so yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you Friday.